Picture the Middle Ages, stone gates, church bells, a market square clattering with carts and prayer. But that picture is a lie. Behind the sermons and statutes, medieval towns ran another market, one that dealt in bodies, secrets, and shame. City councils wrote the prices, bishops collected the rent, guards patrolled the doors, and the poor paid with their flesh. For a few silver coins, sin became municipal revenue. For a few copper pennies more, it became law. Step inside the alleys of the stews and Frauenhäuser, where officials weighed morality against money and chose money. Smell the bathhouses steaming beside the river. Hear the coins counting behind the confessional. Watch the city balance its books with the lives of women. This is hidden by time. A medieval town looked tidy from the Guildhall steps. Baker's Lane, Smith's Row, Fish Market by the Quay. But every map had a stain, a quarter set aside by ordinance or custom, where the rules bent and the city pretended not to see. In German cities, they called it the Frauenhaus, the women's house, often owned or leased by the council itself. In Italian towns, streets marked by yellow veils and striped cloaks signalled who could stand there and who could not. Across the Thames from London, Suffolk's stews ran under church authority, the bishop's men collecting dues while preaching chastity upriver. A red light before red lights. A legal fiction that said, vice belongs over there, and for a fee, we will keep it there. Nothing in the brothel happened by accident. It was paperwork. A woman arriving at the city brothel paid an entry fee. The madam paid a lease or farm to the town. Each bed, each lamp, each barrel of wine owed excise. On feast days, there were special levies. On plague days, there were fines for breaking quarantine. The city clerk wrote it all down in a hand like iron hooks. Receipts piled up. Moral panic could wait until after the audit. Officials told themselves it was harm contained, a lesser evil. But the books told another truth. Vice balanced deficits that virtue could not. The regulations read like a catechism of control. A woman must live inside the quarter, not beyond it. She must wear marked clothing so no one mistakes her for a wife. No soliciting on holy days, unless the council needs the tax. No cheating customers, unless the customer is the constable. Close by curfew, keep the doors open during inspection, report the sick, pay the fee, keep the peace. If she stepped outside the lines, punishment was quick, careful, and profitable. Fines for street walking in the wrong parish, fines for refusing the officer at the door, fines for leaving the quarter without leave. And if she couldn't pay, the pillory, where shame itself became spectacle. The town called it order, the women called it survival. Vice never travels alone. It drags an economy behind it. Taverns clustered around the brothel doors, selling weak ale by the bucket. Bathhouses steamed with rosemary and rumour. Warm water masking colder bargains. Lineners rented sheets by the night. Candlemongers sold light by the inch. Musicians played thin songs on reed pipes. Surgeons set broken teeth and stitched bruised lips. Even the rivermen made their cut, rowing night boats across to the district the city pretended not to see. Every coin passed from palm to palm added a link to the chain. When magistrates weighed morality, they felt the pull of that chain and called it necessity. Piety at the cathedral, profit at the river. In some places, the stews stood on church land, leased out by ecclesiastical lords who pronounced anathemas in the morning and counted rents at dusk. Ordinances forbade clergy from entering, on parchment. But parchment cannot see in the dark. Confessors thundered from the pulpit about lust. Then they heard confessions in the vestry that revealed where the sheriff spent his nights and which alderman kept a girl in quiet rooms above a wine shop. The church condemned fornication. The church also built bridges with the tolls it raised from the district that sold it. Grace and silver are rarely strangers for long. The city measured sin in revenue. Disease measured it in graves. Before dawn, inspectors made rounds, sore throats hidden with scarves, lesions dusted with powder, fevers cooled with watered wine. When the morbus, the pox, spread, councils passed health ordinances, temporary closures, compulsory baths, the doctor's visit paid for by the woman, not the town, and a new line in the accounts for quarantine fees. After the plague years, towns swore to shut the houses forever, but as famine eased and coffers thinned, doors opened again, hinges greased with the same old coin. Memory is short, budgets are shorter, crime fed the market as surely as hunger. Pickpockets worked the lanes, cutting purses in the press of bodies. Brawls spattered blood on whitewashed walls. A jealous husband pulled a knife, a bailiff looked away. The answer was public theatre. Stocks on market day, whipping at noon. A shaming ride through town. A woman backwards on a donkey. A man with a fool's cap. The crowd drunk on righteous cruelty. Fines followed each humiliation like a shadow. Sin paid when it entered the door. Sin paid again when it left. Beneath the ledgers were lives. Some women found a kind of leverage, a warm room, a quiet arrangement with a guard, a little property in a back alley bought with years of risk. A few aged into madams, learning the city's appetite and its seasons like a farmer reads the rain. But many carried the bill: illness, scars, a name no one would speak in daylight. They knew the rules were written to be profitable, not merciful. They knew the quarter would be blamed for crimes it did not commit and taxed for sins it did. They knew the city would call them necessary on Monday and notorious on Sunday. They were the market's stock, its scaffolding, and its collateral damage. Edicts came like storms. Close the stews, banish the women, purge the city. Kings signed orders, reformers preached. New laws promised a cleaner age. For a season, the doors barred, the accounts dipped, the trade slid into alleys and attics, beyond inspection, beyond tax. Then winter came. The river thawed, merchants whispered to aldermen. A compromise inked itself in dim light. The quarter reopened, with new rules and the same old receipts. Walk those streets today and you'll see tidy riversides, clean stone, polite plaques. But if you could step back, the air would change. You'd hear a clerk counting rent in a room that smells of tallow and sweat. You'd see a bishop's steward stamping a seal on a lease he will denounce from the pulpit. You'd watch a woman tie on the marked veil that buys her safety and sells her freedom. Medieval towns told themselves they were containing sin. What they were really doing was pricing it, drawing a line on a map, building a door, and charging a toll. That is the market they never taught you. Not grain or wool or wine, but flesh. This was hidden by time. If this pulled back the curtain, subscribe, turn on notifications, and step with us into the next dark ledger of the past, where cities balance their books with human lives.